getting accustomed to the new braces, the new brace life.
Yeah.
Yeah. What they don't tell you is they up your nerdum by at least 20% when you get the braces on. Most people may look at this as some sort of negative. To me, I feel like this just it boosts my brand, if anything. I've now gained a little bit of a lisp, and I think that really just takes my nerdiness and takes it to another level,
You have to look at it as a slingshot. You have to pull the slingshot back first, which is uncomfortable to do, before the slingshot can fire and hit its goal.
That's a very good metaphor for things besides braces as well. What is up, boyos? Welcome to the Jake and Cory podcast. I am Jake. That is Cory. What is up, Cory?
I just realized that my e-liquid refill bottle kind of symbolizes a freaking dildo.
Oh, nice. That's true. Mine's like a bigger one. It's like a bigger.
I used to
dildo.
get the bigger ones, but ever since, mine is a warm up dildo size. Your is a gape my ass size. I mean, that's a huge freaking. But ever since the feds took over fucking e-liquid companies, they've had to downsize, and they can no longer sell my e-liquid in that size that you have. So the biggest that I can get,
Really?
the biggest that you can get now is this 30 milliliter bottle of e-liquid. How big is yours?
Mine is the
60 or 80? It looks like a 60 or an 80.
100.
100 milliliters? Yeah, they can't sell these in large milliliters anymore, and that sucks because now they've gotten federally regulated. They've been forced to be federally regulated. They've downsized the size of what this is the largest that they can get. The largest is a 30 milliliter, and I'm not going to mention the brand. The largest you can get is 30 milliliter, and then they adjusted the price. They adjusted the price to match what the 60 milliliter used to be. So what they used to charge for the 60 milliliter, now they charge for the 30 milliliter. And they fucked up their website, where now when you go to their website, if you didn't have a pre-existing account, you have to put in like your social security number and birth date and shit to verify that you're over the age of 18.
Because you're ordering online.
Because you're ordering online. You're ordering nicotine online.
Gotcha.
So I had to, you know me, what's a running theme on this show is that I know a guy. And I happen to have you know very well that I happen to have a contact with this organization that I bought my e-liquid from. I reached out to that organization. Gotcha. I said, "Look, man, I need some GTA priority here. I need to be able to get into the server, first. You know what I'm saying? So, well, here's my account information, and you need to fix this shit. I've been ordering from you guys for 300 years." I need to fix this shit. I'm Cory Blaze. I am Austin's friend. I should have priority. And you know what? When he heard that, he asked me one question. He says, "Do you know Jake Woods?" And I says, "Yes, I do. I'm a personal close friend of Jake Woods." And then he hung up on me. But the thing is when I called back,
he's like,
he gave me my priority access, but the feds have like fucked up the e-liquid game. You know what I mean? I wish I could get those
it's really
big
weird.
bottles.
Yeah, they're like trying to ban like flavored juices.
Oh, that was another thing.
It's really
this company went from having like I think they had like 24 different flavors to now down to 6. They only have 6. Now, I lucked out by them keeping the flavor that I have, that I like. I lucked out because I don't know. I've been using this particular e-liquid for so long, I would have separation anxiety if I changed over to something else. And I'm not going to Juul. I'm not going to those disposable ones. This is some high quality boutique shit.
That's that quality
and
shit.
It's just quality, and all of their mods are quality. You know what I mean? I love the shit that I get from this organization, from this company. I wish I could mention them, but they no longer pay me, so I'll never say their company name again out of the lips of this chocolate milk dud face that is here before you.
Yeah, I used to do the Juul thing until because they banned all of their flavors too. So now it's literally you have tobacco flavored and menthol, and menthol is all right, but like, God, that tobacco flavor is not tobacco flavor. I don't know what the fuck.
It's like I've tried the tobacco flavor before. I think it's mocked after a camel's foot. Not a camel toe.
Yeah.
That gives you something else. This is just the camel.
Or a camel cigarette.
This is just the camel foot. And the interesting thing about Juul, it's owned by the Marlboro Company.
Is it? I did not know
Juul
this.
is owned by Marlboro. Its parent company is.
I did not know that.
Its parent company is Marlboro. That was Marlboro's. That was the cigarette company jumping into. Why do you think it was such a huge fucking marketing? I mean, they marketed as big as they did when Marlboro cigarettes were big. Juul went everywhere.
I almost feel like they purposefully banned those flavors so then people would start buying cigarettes again. Because I think they just want to keep selling cigarettes.
Well, they also got attacked by the federal regulations as well, which I think is a little bit behind.
Yeah, but I think they're part of that. Yeah, I think they're part of that. Though.
Juul,
I think like big tobacco, pays a lot of money to the feds to be like, hey, let's continue to try and ban vapes because that's really hurting cigarette sales. I really do believe.
I would agree with you. Juul is also the company that or the product that has been the most controversial e-cig on the market, because Juul, in their huge marketing campaign, and to be correct and to speak correctly, Juul is owned by the company that owns the maker of Marlboro cigarettes, known by Juul Labs Inc., but Altria Group Inc., the maker of Marlboro cigarettes, is who's behind Juul. So it's all tied to the same company. But Juul is the most controversial e-cig because Juul's marketing was found that it was marketing towards kids. It was marketing towards teens. And it was a big, huge hullabaloo. Not a lot of media, but there was a big, huge hullabaloo about the fact that Juul was being consumed. This e-cig was being consumed by a lot of teens.
Yeah, I mean, but that's one of those things where it's like, I don't think they were specifically marketing to teens. Because I remember that too, where they're using flavors like peach and mango, which are flavors teens like. And it's like, well, that's also flavors that just like humans like. I mean,
Well, well, the reason why
I think vaping did go up in the teenage community, but I think that's just because teenagers are like, teenagers were smoking a lot too.
That's true.
Until vaping came out.
From the New York Times. Juul Labs, the vaping company that has long insisted it never marketed its product to teenagers, purchased ad space in early days on numerous youth-focused websites, including those of Nickelodeon, the Cartoon Network, 17 magazine, and educational sites for middle school and high school students, and then it quotes its source. And that was from just February of 2020. That was a month before
Nickelodeon?
A month before the world stopped.
I could maybe understand
Cartoon Network.
Cartoon Network, because they have the Adult Swim section of Cartoon Network, so maybe they just had their ads during that. But I guess Nickelodeon also has whatever Nick at Night.
There was a lawsuit filed against Juul. That was why all this came to be. A suit brought by the state's attorney general of Massachusetts presents that oh crap, there's a video of this playing. I lost my place. Presents some of the starkest evidence to date that the company was targeting young non-smokers during its launch period from June. Oh my gosh, it's only been around since June 2015 through early 2016.
Yeah.
Juul is not that old of an has not been been around in that long in existence. So Juul has been the most controversial product because when it came to market, it had that Marlboro money behind it, that company behind it. So Marlboro is huge. Marlboro is the most recognizable cigarette company on the planet. And
which is weird because they're the worst cigarettes. As a former smoker myself,
I am too, a former smoker. They are the worst. I used to smoke Benson and Hedges. How fucking old grandpa am I? Benson and Hedges are just a thicker version of the Virginia Slims. Those are the most ass hattery of a cigarette you can smoke. Benson and Hedges. Oy.
I was a very fancy man and smoked those Turkish Royals. You know,
you were the Turkish Royals.
Kids, if you're gonna smoke Turkish Royals.
No, on those broke days, because when I was
don't smoke.
Don't smoke. When I was a younger man, I have not always been, having 2.5 hour conversations with accountants. And I used to run when I ran out of my Benson and Hedges. I would go to the GNC or the GMC generic cheap brand of cigarettes, and those things were trash. I mean, you could have just went out into the yard, taken a piece of school paper and rolled grass in it and smoked it, and it would have tasted better than the GNC.
That's like Waves.
I mean, it's horrible. They were just horrible.
Yeah,
but hey,
or L&Ms.
But it was satisfying, that oral fixation of smoking
and the nicotine.
I was a very crafty smoker though.
Yeah,
I was very crafty. Like when I would I never smoke around my kid.
And
it sucked because we would be on a car ride, and that would be my favorite place to smoke, would be in the car. We would be on a car ride, and if he was,
I think that's every smoker's favorite place.
Yeah, and if he was with me and I had that itch hit, we would pull over to the side of the road. I'd get out and I'd smoke a cigarette. Then I'd get back in and we'd keep going. It would make a trip to the freaking store that should have been 30 minutes, an hour and a half, because, I had to keep pulling over and smoking. I knew, like church, I knew how far away I had to be from the church building that I needed to stop smoking. I knew what street I had to hit that I could no longer smoke in order to give myself enough air out time before I got to the church. That's how crafty I was.
I had that same thing. I didn't smoke around my family church or whatever. If I smoked, there was a certain street. I'm like, I don't smoke past here. And I always had like a can of like Axe body spray or some shit.
And the funny thing is that when people realize that I smoked, their minds were blown because I was so freaking crafty about it. Now I didn't, and I had to grow to become crafty, because when I started smoking, when I used to steal cigarettes from my dad, I would be at home and I would take a box fan, crack a window, put the box fan blowing out of the window. And then I would I would light the cigarette in my room, take a drag, and then blow it through the fan, thinking that it was blowing everything out. Now realizing that the burning cigarette was still smoldering, filling the room with smoke, and which of course alerted my parents, which would say, "You've been smoking again." But I started smoking when I believe my first cigarette I had when I was, and I'm not proud of this, I believe I was maybe 12 or 13 when I used to steal.
I think my first one was like 13. And that's what I mean. Like, fucking teenagers smoked cigarettes before. So, like, them switching to vapes is almost like, I don't want to say a good thing, but, like, it's probably better than smoking cigarettes. I'd have to assume.
Vaping is touted as being better than cigarettes, but at the surface of it all, folks, at the surface of it all, anything outside of oxygen going into your lungs is not good. There will be some adverse effect at some point.
Unless you need like an inhaler or something.
Oh yeah, well if it's not, medically prescribed or pot.
Yeah, ganja seems to be all right, but even people I know who smoke a lot of weed have like this crazy cough.
Oh God, that ganja cough is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's always like a moist one, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what? And
smokers,
when you smoke, like I used to work for this organization that you would all your only friends in the company would be the smokers. And then they would always come around and round up everybody to head down to the smoking area.
Yeah.
And then
I kind of miss that.
I kind of do too. And then your 15-minute breaks like turn into 40-minute breaks because it takes you 10 minutes just to walk around the office and see if anybody else wants to join you to smoke. And then when you find one, now they got to go get their bud, and then they got to go get their bud, and then that bud got to go get their bud. And then before you know it, by the time you get out to the smoking area, your fucking break is over. But you're out there, so now you got to commit. And then, Lord, God forbid, you're done and you're about to put your cigarette out and someone else walks up and lights up a new one. Because then it was like something in your brain says, oh shit, I got to join them. We don't smoke alone.
That's right. Yeah, that was always the thing. I think that is a big reason why I started smoking was because like I started working at Burger King when I was like 18 or something. And like I just noticed that like my manager and like the people in the back would always take these like, 5-10 minute breaks just all the time. And I'm like, why don't I get breaks? So I would just join them. I'm like, hey, I'll take one, and then I just started smoking.
Smoking is it's a community. Now. It's a community effort. Yeah. If you find someone that knows how to do it, then then effing do it. You know what I'm saying? It's a freaking community.
Yeah. Don't smoke though.
Please don't. It's a horrible habit, and I regret it.
Because like once you're a few years. Yeah, when you're a few years in, you're like, fuck, man, I just wish I could stop, and I just can't. Because then you find yourself doing, like, the double cigarettes, but you're by yourself. And you're like, why am I even smoking 2 cigarettes by myself now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then when you get older, when you have the most simplistic cough, you think it's death knocking, Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you this. I'm not gloating. I'm not gloating about the fact that I knew that I was crafty about smoking. It was hell. I mean, imagine living your life where you have to hide this and when you hide it very well, it takes a lot of effort to hide it. And it was times where I wouldn't participate in certain events or activities because it involved people that did not smoke, and I didn't want to ever reveal to them that I smoked, so I would just avoid going around them or avoid being around them. And I'm sure that probably cost me some opportunities in life, and it doubly sucked for me because I was a singer. Not only was I a singer, a vocalist, but I was a singer and vocalist in a church. Not only was I a singer vocalist in church, I was the singer vocalist leader in the church. So imagine if they say, oh my God, look at this dude who's trying to make us sing about the baby black Jesus, and he's outside puffing. You know what I mean? So dude, it was equally hard to hide. It was so challenging to hide it. And imagine that if I didn't have something to hide, life probably would have been a little easier during that time.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because this is how it was for me. Because I was the same exact way where I would like, oh, they're all getting together. I don't want to go there because I know I'm gonna have to like not smoke, and it's just gonna make me Jones the whole time I'm there, and I don't want to deal with that. And then. But like a huge relief to me, and the only way I was able to quit smoking was to be like open about it and be like, you know what? I smoked and I quit and I'm trying to quit and I need you guys to like help me be accountable for this. I don't know if you had that same sort of experience, but I like when I quit is when I was like, okay guys, I smoked for a long time, 7 years. Can you please hold me accountable? It was like the only way.
I never had that come to Jesus moment with some of those people.
Really?
Yeah. The people.
It felt like a weight lifted from my shoulders.
No, that's
too.
probably why I'm so fat, because I still carry that weight. The people that knew that I smoked, and then when I stopped, then it was just like, oh, he doesn't smoke anymore. And there's a reason why I didn't want to have that come to Jesus moment. Because if I would have had that come to Jesus moment with all of them and said, hey, I've stopped smoking and blah, blah, blah. If I fell on my ass and smoked again,
now you just smoke.
Now I have a fucking audience calling me out and holding me accountable, and I don't want to do that. It's the same way, Jake, when I was part of a weight loss program many, many moons ago. Now I just love myself the way that I am. You know, of course, everybody wishes it could be different. But when I was part of a weight loss program, I never let anybody know that I was part of a weight loss program, because I didn't want any motherfucker looking over my shoulder saying, hey, Cory, you shouldn't be posting pictures about that burger you have from Carl's Jr. What is your trainer going to say? What about this? I don't want somebody holding that over me. So when it came to smoking, when I did stop, I stopped on my own. I stopped without an audience, and I didn't make it a big issue. And the reason why it wasn't a big issue, because it was a very small segment of people that were in my life that even knew I smoked in the first place. So if I was to come out and have that come to Jesus moment that, hey, I've stopped smoking, I would have gotten more, you smoked, than I would have gotten congratulations.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a huge relief.
And
for
I'm
me
glad, and congratulations
like,
to you, Jake.
Thank you. I still vape, and it's a huge problem, but
Vaping, I don't care now, because I love so much about vaping is that vaping doesn't destroy property. Dude, when I smoked, I had
does make things pretty dusty though.
That explains a lot, but then that's also why I have such great air filters. But dude, I remember this one time talking about smoking, and I don't know why the hell we're on this, but I remember one time I had this 1-bedroom apartment in downtown Glendale, Arizona. And it was an old school apartment where there were only 12 units in the entire building. And it was one of those buildings where everybody's front door opened up to this general area, where it was
like a duplex.
Yeah, like a lobby.
Door.
Your front door didn't open up to the outside world. Your front door opened up into a lobby. And then that lobby was like a little community board. And then there were like maybe a chair or two. Some people have a plant outside their door, almost like a hotel, but it wasn't. It was just this 12 unit, 6 units on the bottom, 6 units on the top. And I had a 1-bedroom, 1-bath unit. And it was such a small unit, dude. If you ever went there and visited me, the only way that you would be able to get to the bathroom would be to go through my bedroom to go into the bathroom. And it was the most annoyingest thing. But when I lived there, everybody that lived there in that building, even the landlord, everybody was a fucking midnight train to Georgia. Everybody smoked. And you walk out, you couldn't spit on a non-smoking sign. Everybody smoked. From the moment you got out of your car, you could smoke in through the general area, everything, right into your apartment, everything. Dude, when I moved out of there, this was a crowning moment when I decided to stop smoking inside my homes. When I moved out of there, dude, I pulled off this picture off the wall, and there was still the shadowing of the picture behind it, because the wall surrounding the picture was covered in soot. Because I smoked. Ugh. If my neighbor came over and visited me, they smoked. Everybody smoked. And the walls were covered in it. And when I pulled the picture off, you could still see the shadow of the picture on the wall. And I said that was disgusting. I pulled my TV out. And I'm putting it on a U-Haul and I'm looking at the back of my TV, dude. And it was nothing but cigarette dust, cigarette smoke, ashes. Disgusting. I think that was probably the moment when, my OCD really sparked up inside of me, but it was so disgusting. But it was at that moment that I said, you know what? Fuck this. I am never smoking inside any place I ever live ever again. It was a disaster, an absolute disaster.
Never lived my life where I could smoke inside. I remember Vegas being a treat because,
or the casinos here in Arizona being a treat because you could smoke inside. Yeah. Or Denny's, dude. I'm so old. I remember being able to spark up at Denny's.
I was never able to do that, but I remember like just going to the casino and like I don't even think I like gambling that much. I think it was just like I liked going there and sitting at a slot machine and smoking a pack of cigarettes, Now,
dude,
like there was just something very nice about that. But don't smoke.
I never gambled. I'm not a big gambler. I would go into a casino and I would play. I think the most I've ever put into a casino was $25, and that was it. That's the most that I've ever put into a casino.
That's the move.
Yeah, I've gone into a casino, and I mean, I'm not talking about $25 total over the span of my life. I'm talking any trip to a casino.
Yeah.
It'd be $20 and a 5 spot, and that'd be it. I've gone into a casino, Arizona, off of the 101 in Scottsdale. I've gone into that casino with $5 and walked out with 250. You know what I'm saying?
That's the move, dude. You start on penny slots and work your way up.
But I used to go to the casino with friends. Drive them to the casino just so that I could hang out inside, smoke, and drink free sodas. I wouldn't even gamble. Mm-hmm. I would just be there puffing and drinking free sodas.
Yeah. That's also why I loved Vegas too, because it's like you're just smoking cigarettes and they give you free drinks on the floor. Like that shit was amazing. And, get so wasted.
And now vaping, I'm not condoning it, and I'm definitely not paid to encourage anybody to vape anymore. No. But vaping now, dude, leaves no smell. I don't have to hide it. The only time I have to hide it is when, I'm somewhere where they don't like you to vape. And then you just, you take a drag and then you pull your shirt over your mouth and you exhale and nobody can see it. Nowadays, it's the masking. So now you just take the mask and you slip the vape pen under your mask, take a hit and exhale. And because you have the mask on, nobody knows that you're exhaling. It's perfect.
Yeah. I also like find it's easier to go without vaping for long periods of time than it was smoking.
Yeah.
I literally don't take my vape with me to work, and if I'm going out, I don't typically bring it with me. It's usually just if I'm home, I'll like hit the vape.
When I'm shooting a basketball game, be it for the NBA or an NCAA game, you're in that arena for, even though the games are only, 90 minutes or a couple hours or whatever, you're in those arenas for at least, at least a 4 to 6 hour commitment of time, total time. I don't vape during those times. I just don't. So I agree with you. I find it easier to go without vaping, but I never
feel myself like jonesing like I did with cigarettes.
Yeah, it's not like, or when you're jonesing for a cigarette, I don't know how it manifested in you, Jake, but in me, how it manifested is that I would just have a fucking raging attitude for no reason. I would just have an attitude until I had that cigarette while I was able to, I guess, calm down, and then, everything was right as rain again.
Yeah, it just made me feel really stressed out. Hey, I wanted to bring this up on the show. I noticed you kind of mentioned it on Fat Guy a little bit, but did you happen to watch that Meghan Markle interview with Oprah Winfrey?
I did not watch the full interview. I watched a lot of the responses and reviews and takes of the interview, but I did not watch it from start to finish myself.
Yeah, I watched it, begrudgingly even, because honestly, I just don't care. But
Yeah, the overall overall contention is people just really don't care.
Well, like for one, like I'm American, dude. You know,
The hell you say?
It's like that's a British thing. Like, and I have no power whether the royal family maintains power or not. You know what I mean? Like,
do they really
what am I
have
gonna do?
power though, or is it just some elevated level of influence? I mean, do they write laws and shit?
No.
So it's like it's a heightened level of influence.
I do think the Queen has like veto power though.
I don't know.
Where she can like veto laws, but
our queen can't. I mean, Beyonce that can't veto any laws.
That's true. To me, it doesn't change my perspective at all because I think monarchies are fucking dumb, and I think every American also thinks that. I think there were maybe some Americans that liked the pomp and circumstance of it. I never was one of those people. I was always like, this is fucking weird. And her coming out and doing the interview, I watched the interview. What it sounds like to me is it's a cult, and Harry was raised in a cult. To me, the bigger story is that Harry was raised in a cult and he was able to get out of it. I'm surprised more people aren't like, damn, Harry, you fucking left a cult. Like, nice, good job, bro.
I took a different angle at it. And I did mention this on Fat Guy. Royal families have been fucked up since existence. I mean, there are historical stories.
It's a familiar dictatorship.
Yeah, there are historic stories of royal families beheading and, brothers of a royal family killing each other so that they could get closer and closer to the crown. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not surprised that there's racism, interweaved within the royal family. My whole thing is that Harry was raised in this family, and Meghan Markle put it on him. He's pee-whipped. And the reason why I classify that is because he allowed an outsider to pretty much separate him from his family. And they've been destroyed. They've been reckless from the whole point. You know what? Princess Diana, she was in there. She was an outsider. She went through hell. But she never once tried to lead, even after he cheated on her, Prince Charles, away from the royal family. She never did, never made any attempt to that we know of. And I'm not saying that what Meghan Markle said and what she went through within the royal family was okay. It's definitely a bad situation all around.
Well,
but Prince Harry, he let this chick come in and take him away from his family.
Well,
that's fucked up.
I will absolutely push back on this because that's some bullshit. Because just because their family doesn't mean they're not toxic as fuck. And I think a big reason why he left is because he saw what happened to his mom, ultimately led to her fucking death. And he's like, I'm not going to let that happen to my wife. He fucking loves his wife, dude. Like, I don't see any issues with that. And if you watch the interview, it doesn't even sound like they tried to leave. It sounded like, hey, I have an acting career. Harry's trying to do his own thing with his own career. And when you're part of the royal family, they say, like, it's like being part of a job. So they just wanted to, like, step down. So they moved to Canada, which is a territory or province of England, where they could still, like, if they needed something, they could call them up or whatever. But they were like, but then they ultimately excommunicated them from the family. And that's why they moved to America. But also, like, if you are raised in a cult, and what it sounds like to me, what defines a cult is the ability to leave or not. The ability to leave. That is what makes a cult. Like, if you cannot leave this thing, it's a cult, right? And that's what it sounded like they were in, because she straight up says, like, when I moved in there, they took my passport, they took my keys, They had security on me all the time. I couldn't go anywhere. There was nowhere I could go. I couldn't flee. I couldn't do anything. To me, that is cult-like behavior. And if you are in a cult and you marry someone from outside the cult and they say, hey, this is a cult, we should get out. I'd probably be like, oh yeah, you're right. This is a cult. We should get out.
No.
And they also said that they actively still talk to the Queen, and the Queen is very sympathetic and seems cool with it. Seems like Charles is a real dickhead about it.
No,
but
Charles is a
like
real dickhead anyway. But I
ultimately to me, and this is the bottom line, Cory, is they didn't want the baby, who turned out to be like the whitest looking baby, who was potentially mixed raced. They said that can't be a prince, but Prince Andrew, the fucking dude who rapes kids, is still a prince. And to me, that's enough to be like, I'm done with this family, dude.
Okay, so you're done with the family because they're toxic. You leave. You don't think for a minute she didn't put the ultimatum on Harry? You don't think that she put the ultimatum on Harry to say it's either me or them?
I mean, sure, yeah, but like
he whipped, I'm pussy whipped, because he chose her over the fucked up royal family.
He did choose her over the royal family. He whipped, and I commend him for that.
The man should have stood up and said, "Hey, look, you married, Cory, that's you bullshit. Married into my fucking family. This is the shit that we have to deal with." And if he knew the family was fucked up, Jake. He's 36 fucking years old. He knew the family was fucked up. Meghan Markle, when he was dating her ass, she knew how fucked up they were before she married him, but she still married him. She married him, and she married his family, his fucked up toxic family. He married her fucked up toxic family.
And they got out.
Because don't think for a minute that Meghan Markle is all clean in this situation. Her situation with her father is still fucked up too. So you got two fuck ups coming together, making one big fuck up. They deserve each other.
I think that's a really poor take, and I really think you should analyze that.
I'm not going to analyze shit. It's the way that I feel. It's the way that I've said it on now 2 shows. He's fucking pussy whipped. If she was unhappy and she couldn't deal with what the royal family, she knew the royal family was fucked up. We all know they are. Why is this a surprise?
Well, sometimes and for Harry, it's like sometimes it takes some outside influence to realize what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I think that's a really poor take.
I'm not. It's my take. So be it. You can classify it as being poor from your vantage point if you want to, but it's my take, and I'm staying on it. It's a fucked up situation. You got 2 fucked up families.
Yeah, my take is that's a fucking horrible take.
I'm not saying that I'm not taking your take as horrible. But you're taking my take as horrible because it doesn't align with yours. That's fucking lopsided as well, Jake. Be it as it may, it's how I see the whole situation. He's fucking pussy whipped. If she wanted out, he should have packed her bags.
He's married.
If she wanted out, she could have packed her bags and fucking left, and then went down and had a conversation with Oprah. You don't have to drag some dude away from his fucking lineage and birthright because you see some shit that you're unhappy with. Everybody that's walked into fucking Kensington Castle sees this shit.
They're married and had a kid, Cory.
Like people that are married don't get divorced.
The whole reason like they ended up leaving is you should really watch the interview. The whole reason they ended up leaving in the first place is because they're like, your kid will not get any support from us because it's mixed raced. Like, dude, come on.
You don't think that someone in the royal family
and then you're like
Harry
oh, he should just stay with his family, not his fucking kid and his wife. You know,
you don't think someone told Harry that before he married her, bruh? He knew what he was getting himself into. She knew what they were getting themselves into. If they're brazen enough to kill someone else so that they can get closer to the crown, you don't think they're brazen enough to pull Harry's ear and say, hey, this mixed race lady that you're about to marry may not be a good choice because your child may come out to be too dark, which will, you know, of course, forfeit their right to any royal support. But Meghan put it on him, and Harry said, fuck all that. I'm going in. And he dove in. He busted a nut. The baby came out. It wasn't as dark, but the baby still didn't have any royal support. Harry made the decision. Meghan made the decision. They made their bet. They got a lie in it. Here's the bottom line, Jake. We can sit here and debate this all fucking day. Here's the bottom line. These two motherfuckers are never going to they're not going to get a job at Burger King or Intel. These motherfuckers are still going to have money rolling in, more money than Jesus at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They're going to be okay. They sat down with that interview with Oprah. You don't think they got compensated for it? You don't think Oprah's stock has risen from all of this? At the end of the day, we're still swine. They're still jewels.
I just think that's a really,
you can think whatever you want to think and take however you want to take.
Okay, then let me say it. Let me fucking say it then. Jesus fuck.
Say it.
It's a really insensitive take.
Oh, so you don't want to say it. You just want to attack me.
Yeah, I'm going to say it, and I'll because the reason I do agree with the fact that they're going to be fine now that they left. You know, like now that they left, and I think it's great that they left. I don't understand why it's his, like it's a bad thing that he left. That's like, you know, I marry a woman who's part of the Warren Jeffs family, and then I'm like, hey, we should probably leave this. She could stay, but she's like, no, you're right. This is a fucking cult. We should leave. And then you're gonna be like, you're wrong for leaving. That's your family. That's such a bad take.
Why would you marry into someone of the Warren Jeffs family?
Because you love the love.
Oh, love is stronger than the fucking disaster toxicity of a family that you're aware of? You're going to allow your love to overshadow the toxicity of someone else's life?
I don't think...
Wow.
I don't think either of them like fully realized like how bad it was. Like I said, like sometimes you don't realize how bad it is until you're in it, you know?
Then she should have just bounced, bro. You know, she should have just bounced.
Harry was raised in royalty, you know, and he was raised in that situation, and I think Meghan, who's an American, you know, looked at it from like probably how a lot of us thought, and we're like, oh, it's just some pop in circumstance, doesn't mean much. And then you get in there and you realize, oh, wow, this is very controlling. It's very manipulative. It's very racist. Like, and then you're like, Harry, I don't think this is a good situation. And Harry could have stayed, and he didn't. He chose to go with his wife and kid. I don't understand why that's a bad thing.
Harry knew it wasn't a very good situation, Jake, because he lived what his mother went through. He knew the royal family was fucked up. And when Meghan got in there, it wasn't what Meghan's, it didn't play out to what Meghan's, and I'm just surmising here, it didn't play out to what Meghan expected.
To me, you're victim shaming is what you're doing.
I'm not victim shaming. Everybody's fucked up in this situation.
Cool. I just think that's super not cool. But you know,
you can think whatever you want. It's the way that I take it. It's my takeaway. And it wasn't very popular when I said it wasn't very popular when I said it on Fat Guy Radio Show. But I'm saying what a lot of people are afraid to fucking say. Most likely, it's the same thing with it's the same take that I take when all of these like what Governor Cuomo is going through right now in New York. All of these allegations of sexual abuse and shit like that. When these women don't get what they want or things don't play to their favor, they become the victim. That's how I'm rolling this out. That's how I'm taking it. Meghan Markle went into the royal family thinking that it was probably just some pomp and circumstances. And when she found out and started sweeping some of the dust off of the situation and dusting some of the cobwebs in that family, she realized it wasn't what she had expected. And therefore,
they both got
out. She should have left. But no, she wanted to drag Prince Harry away from a situation that Prince Harry knew was fucking fucked up. He's 36 years old. He lived through everything his mother went through. And you think if he would have known it was fucked up and he wanted out, he would have left way before he met Meghan Markle. But he didn't. He waited until Meghan Markle came into his life to like, oh, now you're having this crystallizing a veil lifted off of your face moment. P-whipped.
That's
not
not
pussy whipped. You should have seen it before, bruh.
That's not how things work, Cory. Like mental, like being mentally manipulated your entire life, being born into a system. I mean, there's plenty of people who are in cults that are born. You think most Christians are Christians because they're Christians? Most Christians are Christians because they were born into it. You know what I mean? Like, most people who are in cults because they were born into it. You don't know what you're in until someone opens your eyes to it. And I think it's maybe a redemption story for Harry, if anything. He probably didn't know how fucking bad it was. He probably didn't realize because he never had an experience outside of that fucking palace. So I just think that's a very poor take.
When Prince Harry married, did Prince Harry marry outside of... Did Prince Harry marry an American?
He did, yeah.
How come he's still in?
Who?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, not Prince
left.
Harry. Prince William. Did Prince William marry an American?
No.
He didn't marry an American?
No.
These American women. Bringing down lives.
But also, just because William didn't leave doesn't mean anything. Just because Andrew raped kids doesn't mean they all raped kids.
But if it's as bad as you say it is, Jake, then why isn't Prince William out?
Because he was born in that system.
So was Harry.
Yeah, and he got out
after influence from Meghan.
Right.
P-whipped.
To me, that's positive.
He should have made his own decision.
He did.
After
he chose his wife and kid.
P-whipped.
You could call it P-whipped, but that's choosing your wife and kid and the higher road. There is room for redemption.
She chose him and his fucked up life. Yeah. And
she didn't
and when
know.
It wasn't what she thought it was going to be, she had to change his mind.
Yeah. Sometimes that happens, Cory.
P-whipped.
That's fine. He was P-whipped and he got out of a bad situation.
It's not a bad situation. You're fucking royal. You're royal. People they've stopped traffic for you to bend over and pick up a piece of paper.
Yeah, that's bad, Cory. The royal family is bad. I couldn't think of a more American take than what I'm saying right now. The royal family, bad. Prince Harry leaving, royal family, because it's bad. I couldn't think of a more American stance than that. Yet I'm the crazy one? What the fuck?
I'm not saying that you're crazy.
That's insane.
I'm not saying that you're crazy. If you've noticed, I'm saying you're crazy. I haven't disagreed with anything that you said. All I'm saying is my take on it is a prime example of being P-whipped.
That's fine, dude. I think that's a sexist take that you're saying.
Call it what it is. Your perception is your perception. But it'd be a cold dude P-whip. I guarantee you 10 years from now, 15 years from now, when they're both in their 50s, he'll regret this decision.
I don't think so, dude.
He'll regret.
You regret choosing your kid and wife.
He's gonna regret it, bro.
Oh my
P-whipped.
God. That's so bad.
P-whipped.
That is such a bad take, dude.
Brand it as you will, Jake. It's my take.
Yeah. Well, that's the show.
Jake is so morbidly uncomfortable right now.
Yeah, a little bit. But that's the show. Make sure you check out the other shows. Me and my buddy Austin are doing a lot more like spoiler cast, nerdy shit over on the channel. We also have the Loner Gamecast, which happens live every Monday on Twitch, and it posts everywhere else Tuesday, the next day. Also, just keep an eye out on the channel. We've always got fun things coming out on the channel, so make sure you check out that.
I was about
shit.
to I was going to actually ask to come on the Gamecast because I wanted to talk about GTA 5 and XQC, one of the largest Twitch streamers on the Twitch platform. Then my girlfriend Megan came to me and she said, "You know what? You just shouldn't do it," and I avoided it.
That's like a total misrepresentation of. It's like not even analogous.
No, I seriously actually was gonna ask to come on and do like a 10-minute sitter with you guys about it because I find it very interesting. There's a lot of shit that I don't know why I'm invested in with GTA 5. Like they removed lockpicks out of the game for some reason. And then XQC, what we thought was on a 3-day ban, maybe a perma ban because of his play, and he's one of the biggest Twitch streamers. And believe it or not, it has had an effect on the RP of the game without XQC being there, which was completely unexpected from a lot of people. And then he jumped over to another server. So I was going to come on Loner Gamecast to talk about it, but I opted not to ask.
We did talk about GTA a lot on the last show, actually. We talked about the future of GTA 6 and what's going to happen with Rockstar. It's a very interesting episode. Yeah, we would have liked to have you there. Should have fucking hit me up sooner, son. Okay.
You and Nick do a better job talking about video games than I do.
That's probably true just because we play a lot more video games than you do. Although that might not be true anymore because you played a shit ton of Stardew Valley. Like more Stardew Valley than I've played of any other fucking game.
Yeah, and Stardew Valley is on my last nerve because I can't make it to level 100 of the fucking skull mines, no matter how many. The only way that I can, and I'm trying to get there without fucking downloading those mods. You know, there's mods out there that you can download that give you like infinity life and infinity energy, and you can get mods that will stop your clock. I don't want to cheat. Those are cheats to me. You know, I don't want to download a cheater plug to be able to beat something. I want to do it organically. That's how I played the fucking game. So it's like, it's got me irritated right now because I can't get to fucking level 100 of the mines. I don't know what's down there. I refuse to Google what's down there because, you know, I mean, it's an old game. So, of course, all the secrets are out. I refuse to Google it. Dude, I even realized that there was a fucking tractor mod that you can get in the game where you can just ride a tractor around your fucking farm. I don't even want to get that, even though it'd be really fucking cool. But I don't want to get it because it's a cheat.
You should just start cheating. You've put enough time in.
I don't want to. Jake, I don't know about you, but I am a morally responsible person.
I don't cheat in video games.
I don't cheat in video games.
But I cheat on my taxes.
Shit, I wish I did.
I know, dude. I should start.
I'm too dark to cheat.
I will talk to you.
5, 6, 7, 8 is what you're looking for.
Yeah, that is what I was looking for.